one of my very favorite scriptures in this season is Psalm 139:5. And it's, He goes before us to prepare the way.
Yeah.
He heals us from the harms of the past. And with His hand, He puts a blessing upon us.
This is going to be fun because I'm sitting with a friend who we haven't really been in a relationship that long, but the thing that attracted me to you, Carol, was your love for young people. And I think I responded to you about something you said publicly, and I'm like, I want to know this person because they have a heart for young people like I do. And so that started a relationship where we just kind of talked casually. And by the way, this is Carol Norman, an owner of a business, American National Insurance, also a board member on the CitiServe Board. So we have a relationship there too. But that really intrigued me when you kind of launched into this whole thing of like, this next generation they need somebody to walk with them. They need somebody to encourage them. And you were kind of like a cheerleader for the next generation. And I thought, I want to know this person. And so when I started CitiServe, you were one of the first people I talked to because I'm like, I want you, because you've started things, you've begun things, and I want you to be part of this. And so thank you and welcome. Welcome. I'm glad you're here today.
Thank
and we're
you.
going to talk a little bit about your journey. So I don't know. I mean, we were talking beforehand and you were saying that you used to work with Steve Kirkpatrick in a dental clinic and were there for
23 years.
23 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've been with American National for 18 years. Mm-hmm. That's a long time to devote yourself to only 2 environments. What is it about you that sticks with things the way that you do?
Oh, I think I chose well where to go. Actually, I was asked to work for Steve back when I was in my early 20s. Fortunately, it was part-time, so it worked well with raising kids and having babies and really good work environment.
Yeah.
Steve was great to work for. He was a friend of mine, still is a friend of mine today. And so the work environment was really good. With the team that he had, we created just a very happy environment within the dental industry, which most people aren't too thrilled to walk into a dental office. But I know they enjoyed coming into our office. We laughed and became friends with most of our patients. So it was just a really good environment. Steve was flexible with my needs as far as a mom. And I would have probably finished my career there had I not been offered the opportunity with American National Insurance.
Did you start the same time Steve did? Were you there in the beginning of his practice?
Yes. He had he had graduated, bought a practice, and probably within maybe 6 months, I started working for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet he was thrilled that you were leaving when you announced that.
No, we both cried.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That had to be really traumatic. Yeah. And so then you were presented with this option of working with American National. How did that start? Where'd the on-ramp to that come from?
I had on the side a window treatment business with Hunter Douglas. And so a client of mine through the company was being transferred from Colorado to Washington to build up the American National agents and such. And because I was already a client of his, he'd been referred to me as a client to do the windows for their home in Washington. We became friends, and I became friends with his wife, and he felt like Randy, my husband, would be a good person to come and work for the company. And it's sales, obviously. And so he talked to Randy about doing it, and I was not comfortable him leaving a secure position he had at Fiber Mill at the time for this unknown commission. And so I was like, no. But I had spent years praying for a position for Randy, whether to go back to school or just something where he could leave the mill environment and work a 9-to-5 type of a job. And so the Lord just kind of kept impressing upon me, you do it, Carol. This is for you to do. And so in faith, I just stepped out.
That is so weird, though, that you're wanting this thing for your husband, and the Lord says, no, it's for you right now.
Yeah. And
plus it was a huge shakeup in your whole life right then.
Yeah. So I stepped into it thinking if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I don't lose anything. I kept working for Steve for that first full year. And It went really well. The Lord really blessed it. I just surrendered it to him. And we had determined that if it works well, Randy would leave Fiber in 3 years' time, come and take over the business, and then I would quit and stay home. And as it worked out, I was asked to become a manager and a director for American National Hiring, Recruiting, and Training Agents. And Randy was able to come over, take over my book of business. He grew it, and then I continued to work in a different manner at American National. But the Lord it truly was his idea from the beginning. It absolutely was. It took faith for me to step out and do it.
Yeah.
Absolute faith, because it's not something I wanted to do. Nobody strives to be an insurance agent. That's not necessarily the goal and the desire of most people, but it was something I loved. I was able to serve people, help people. I loved numbers. I went to school to become an accountant, ended up quitting and marrying my husband. So it kind of fulfilled that numbers and strategy and, all of those kinds of
What
things.
about sales? You like sales?
I love sales, yeah, but I didn't know I loved
weird.
sales. But we love sales because we love people.
Yeah.
And you're providing options. You're not giving them something that they don't already have or convincing them to buy something they don't already have. It's something they have. And you're providing solutions, you're providing a service, and you're providing friendships. We're friends with most of our clients. I mean, it's gone very big that we don't know a lot of them, but if they call, they're like our friends. We talk to them like they're friends, and we do the best thing that we can to serve them, meet their needs, and give them options. And so there is a sales element to it for sure, but you're really just trying to serve people, and sales is just a natural fit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not much unlike what you were doing at the dental office.
No.
You're trying to serve those people and make them comfortable with what they're about ready to head through. Well, insurance can be the same thing.
Exactly.
I mean, it can be really daunting for people, right?
It is, yeah. And people want to know that when they have a claim, they have someone that's going to walk through it with them, that they can call. It's a face-to-face. It's not some 800 number that every time they call, it's a different person, or it's just very hands-off, with some companies. And I'm talking about your internet companies.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about agencies within the cities, but people want that. They want the comfort of someone when they go through a claim. And so insurance is really, really important. Life insurance is critical, absolutely critical to have. And that's obviously one of them that we sell in addition to the home auto and all of the other lines. But the Lord has so incredibly blessed it. I started out with me 18 years ago, and we've got a very large team now together 18 years later. And my husband works with me, and our son works with us. I've got a nephew that works with us.
Wow.
My sister works with us. And then we have extended other people. But it's grown into a very, very large team.
So what's it like to work for Carol?
Well, hopefully people feel like it's a blessing. We hire new people, and I've got a new gal that we hired, and she called a friend and said, "Oh, you need to come work for our office. It's a great office. They have fun, and they really love you." And so I just pray that people feel the love of Jesus. I mean, that's really my heart.
Okay, your relationship with Jesus is leaking out a little here. Talk a little bit about, you have really strong faith that you don't hide, but talk a little bit about how your faith informs your business practice. How does your relationship with Jesus impact the way you treat people?
First and foremost, I want them to be treated as Jesus would treat them.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not perfect, but I want first and foremost that they see Jesus in me, that they feel loved, they feel the compassion, they feel the just the care that Jesus would have if he walked alongside of them. But the biggest thing is we don't preach it. It's not like we're coming at them preaching, but that they can leave and feel loved and supported, and whatever it is that the love of Jesus encompasses them. It's like that warm blanket that we feel, and the smile that they don't feel. Like I called someone even today, and I could just feel the weight from their voice, of what they were feeling. And I didn't feel comfortable asking them on the phone what the weight was, but I was able to pray for them just, without them realizing I was praying for them. Because the weight of the world is heavy. And if we can put a smile on someone's face just by them coming in and them experiencing someone that really cares about them, looks them in the eye, smiles with them, sympathizes with them, because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard what people are facing. We don't always know what they're facing before they come in, and insurance might be like an increasing rate might be the thing that they're most upset about, and then they respond with that concern, but there's usually more behind the scenes a lot of times. So it's just bringing forth a care and a compassion that's missing in our world today as a whole.
I would imagine most all the people that work with you and for you are Jesus followers, right?
Unfortunately, they're not.
Really?
Yeah. That has always been my cry, is that I get a lot of Jesus followers in our office. And we have some, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we don't. And I've had so much opportunity to minister. And I know that's the Lord's intent for our office. It's not to necessarily walk side by side with people that feel the same. And I'm talking about staff.
Yeah.
I'm talking about our staff. And even a conversation I had this morning with one of our staff members who's not saved, but she's going through a very difficult thing in her life right now. And she asked if I would pray for her in it. And I prayed for her. I've been praying for her. And this morning she said things were getting better. It's a result of prayer. So they're seeing those. I really believe our call with our staff is to walk them to salvation.
Yeah. Well, then you truly do. When you hire people, you hire the best person.
I feel like we do.
The best character, and somebody who you're going to really enjoy working with, that can listen to you and follow your lead, because you have a lot to give people.
I feel like they need to be a representation of who we are.
Yeah.
And there are really good people in the world that don't know Jesus yet.
Yeah.
So if they're a good representation of who we are, I think it's just a matter of time before they do surrender their hearts to the Lord and are a follower of Jesus.
Yeah. Do you find many people, I mean, I'm sure you are in conferences and large gatherings with a lot of people in the insurance industry. Are there a lot of people who are Jesus followers in insurance? Or is it a pretty small group of people?
Yeah, it's pretty small.
So you stick out, you know.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah, which is not bad. I mean, like, you're just being you. I know you well enough to know that you're not going to try to change who you are just so somebody will feel comfortable necessarily with you. I mean, you don't shove it down people's throat at all. And I don't think the people that I think are really successful in business do that. They're really out there to serve more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. I was just at a 2-day meeting up in Seattle, and great training, great meeting. And the evening we went to a restaurant, and there was a lot of drinking involved, and people's voices were starting to get a little bit louder, and anyway, I sat there and drank my water, and because that's what I enjoy. I like water. I don't drink other stuff. I don't drink even juices because I don't want the calories. But anyway, so I do stand out. I keep asking for glass after glass
People
of
keep
water.
wanting to buy you a glass of water.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, but I can still be in that atmosphere. I can still be in that atmosphere, even though I'm not maybe doing the same thing, I can be in that atmosphere and still be a light, and choose to be friends with, someone who is maybe getting inebriated, which that was definitely happening, and still be able to talk and have conversation. And it gets uncomfortable sometimes, and I can choose to leave early, but it's kind of like Jesus, he went into the bars, as the Bible says, and we know he didn't participate in the behaviors, but he was able to still be a light. And so sometimes that's what we're called to do in the world.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of relationships with people?
I ask a lot of questions. I feel like I like to know who people are, where they come from. And kind of finding a commonality. Sometimes it's difficult to find a commonality, but I that's probably one of my favorite things, is to find something that we share in common, and just to get to know who the person is. It's amazing the depth that people have that you don't see just in a very shallow conversation.
Yeah. And curiosity is key
Yeah.
to the whole thing. I mean, when you're entering into a conversation with somebody with the idea that you're going to either talk them into thinking like you or, just disregarding the way that they think and who they are as a person, it really makes it really shallow.
Yeah.
You can get in pretty deep by just being curious about who they are and what makes them tick and why they feel the way they do about things. And it's amazing how that leads back to Jesus so many times.
It does. Yeah, it really does.
What do you you've been at this a while. How do you feel now that you at the place that you're at in business and in life right now? How do you feel like things are changing right now? What changes do you, when you look around, do you feel? I mean, obviously the world's changing a lot too, but you personally, Carol, what's changing in you right now?
Well, one thing that I guess I'm seeing since I'm on the last half of my life, that relationships with my family and ministry in the church is of more value than maybe earning money.
Yeah.
We've established a very, very successful agency. We have a succession plan. Our son will be taking over. So it's time to kind of more look at what this after American National will look like. And it's more time spent with my grandbabies. I've got grandbabies in Nashville. My daughter lives there and our son-in-law. And I've got grandbabies on this side and two sons and two daughter-in-laws that are here in Longview. And so it's just building more relationship with them, with my own extended family, and also being able to serve more in the church. And I've already been doing more of that, but I feel like work stifles the amount of time that I would like to do it.
Yeah.
So I see me just kind of easing out and the Lord leading me in directions that would be different levels of ministry that He's created me for and my heart has a passion for. So that's what I see, as easing into that.
Are you comfortable with the process?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you're not pushing it.
No. I've got dreams that the Lord has laid on my heart, and it's just a matter of just praying on those dreams and watching the Lord materialize. Like I said, I prayed for years for something for my husband to be able to leave fiber mill. It came in a way that I never thought.
Yeah.
And I can look back at those 18 years, and it has been such a blessing, and it's blessed so many others. Like I talk about my sister and my own son and my nephew. It's blessed them and led them into careers. So I look at that and I know the Lord has something great. I just don't know fully what it's going to look like.
Is there any unfinished business when it comes to your business? Unfinished business when it comes to your business? Is there something you want to do that you haven't done yet?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So you feel pretty content with what you've accomplished and where you've taken it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do have a pretty significant impact in the insurance world here in Longview, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody wants to rule over anything, but you're serving in a pretty broad group of people.
Yeah, I've got a large group of agents here in Longview, and not just Longview. I've got them north and south of here, but they're all amazing people. We're all in close relationship, and I'm very proud of each one of them. They're tremendous agents, and they've built great agencies as well. And so just watching them, there's just a fulfillment and just such an honor for what the Lord has led me through to be able to even impact them where they've impacted lives and they've their own families.
You took business through 2008 and the crazy financial stuff that happened then through COVID. And yet this environment we're in right now seems to be so volatile, so much going on. How does what's going on around you, like those events, affect how you lead your business?
Well, we've had to do a huge transitional change. American National has pulled out of Washington. Well, not out of Washington, only out of every state with their homeowners. They're canceling those. So we've all of us that have agencies have developed or grown or transpired or transitioned into brokerage. So we're all brokerages now. And so we're having to go through this big change of rewriting every American National client into our brokerage. And that's been huge. That's just really a large, undaunting task ahead of us, but we're accomplishing it. And but yeah, the premiums that are being increased because of inflation and all of those things are just, it puts a heavy weight on our clients, heavy weight. And so we're able to provide some solutions, not necessarily lower premiums, because that's impossible in, like you say, the volatile insurance world that we're in today. But we're able to do what we can do, and just having to keep a positive attitude about it. I mean, we just can't sink. We can't sink with it. We got to rise above it and recognize the changes, and it's like taking a big ship that we had and, turning it a whole 90 degrees. And so I was just using the verse this morning. I was sharing it with one of our assistants, and I said, consider it pure joy when we face trials and tribulations. And that joy seems so funny to think about, when you're facing a trial and a tribulation. Her trial and tribulation is different than what I'm speaking about. But the joy of the transformation within us as we surrender every trial, every tribulation, everything to the Lord, that transformation is the joy. That's the joy of us coming through it. And the joy of the joy of the Lord is our strength. So all of that, as we come through it, the transformation inside of us as we yield to Him is the joy.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, that's I'm glad you mentioned something about joy, because joy and gratitude are two things that I think people miss a lot of times. They're such a strength for you and for the people around you. And if you can somehow make joy and gratitude available to people in a package they can grab a hold of really quickly and easily, it makes such a huge difference in their lives. It really does. From the moment they grab a hold of those things and embrace them, they really are different. When you in your relationship with Jesus and how it's evolved over the last 20 years or so, how has your relationship with business caused your relationship with Jesus to deepen? How has business impacted your relationship with Jesus? Obviously, you've had to press in a little bit during times that were hard. Maybe this is one of those times right now when you're having to press into your relationship with Him. But how has your business changed your relationship with Jesus?
It's caused me to realize I am nothing without Him. Yeah. Even when we found out what was happening with the company, it was like, it was such a change, dramatic change. It was like starting all over again. And so I was just praying constantly, Lord, give me strategies, give me blueprints, give me ideas that come straight from you. There was no way that nobody had experienced this before, what we're going through. Nobody. There wasn't someone that I could go to that just says that I could ask, you had every homeowner policy canceled that you wrote in the last 18 years. What did you do? So it was literally allowing the Lord to show us and realizing we just can't do it I can't do it without Him. Yeah. Absolutely could not do it without Him. So it caused even a deeper trust and faith in Him, knowing that He will provide the way. One of my very favorite scriptures in this season is Psalm 139:5. And it's, He goes before us to prepare the way. Yeah. He heals us from the harms of the past. And with His hand, He puts a blessing upon us. And so the harms that we felt of what we're going through, things have changed dramatically. And, being upset that why did they change this? Why did this stop this? Even clients will say they're mad at American National for canceling their homeowners. Well, we're upset too. Yeah. But He heals us from those harms of the past. And He's going before us as agents, me as I ask for the guidance and the wisdom from the Father. He goes before us preparing the way. And He honestly has prepared the way. And that verse, I just cling to it. It literally, I think in every situation, not even this, but even in times where someone's going through such grief and pain, He goes before us. He prepares the way. I have a picture of Jesus in my room, and it's the back of Him. So He's in the white robe and He's walking down a path. And I was looking at this morning. I was thinking, He's going before me, leading the way, but He's also beside me, holding my hands. And then He's also behind me. So He's all around me.
You know what's interesting, Carol, is your son is watching all this. And one of the things as a parent, you don't ever want your kids to go through hard things. I mean,
No.
you learn a lot through going through hard things, but your son is watching you and watching you handle a situation, watching how you handle it, watching where you turn to in the midst of it. And I don't even know if you've thought about this, but right now he's probably going through a huge learning curve and he's not even in charge yet. He's watching you go through it and watching how you manage yourself in the midst of a trial, because that is a huge trial for the business that you're leading. But what do you think he is learning right now about leading that, he can't get out of a notebook somewhere or a binder somewhere? Well,
yeah, I think he's learning an immense amount. The other thing too is it's been an opportunity to call him to rise up. And there's things that I've asked of him to do. And I'm so proud of him. He's risen to the occasion, taken on the responsibility, because one person can't manage it all. I work with my husband as well, and he manages another side of the business. So more the administrative side falls on me. And so I've asked Derek, is his name, to step up and do this, go to the state and form a new LLC that's under Cedars Insurance Group, because American National is going away. And so he has risen up, and he's always been a very intelligent kid. He's 40 years old, so he's not really a kid, but very intelligent.
And he's still a kid.
Yeah, in our eyes, right? But he has really risen up to taking the reins, I guess, in a sense, and leading in a way that's preparing him to own the agency. So had we not gone through this, I don't know if he would have even been put to that test to have to do the things that he's doing. And so I've seen leadership skills in him arise that are being forced to be pulled out.
Well, that's a blessing for you too, because that gives you the confidence that he's been through hard things and he can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah. That's really cool how that's worked out.
I'm really proud of him.
What's it like to work with your husband in the same business, in the same office? You guys are so different.
We are.
You are very different.
We are, yeah. He likes to laugh that I'm his boss 24/7. We have had to learn to, I guess, not worry about the little stuff, like they say. We used to say years ago when we were young and did projects together, we'd go, we could never work together. Well, the Lord has a sense of humor, and here we are working in the same office. And it has been humbling. We've really had to humble ourselves at different times in order to be able to work together. And I don't know, maybe there's couples that can work really well together and it's just natural. We're kind to one another and respectful. So that was a good foundation that we had. And I've always been that, but there's still things that come up, especially when I'm the boss and, I need to say certain things that, fortunately my husband is laid back enough that he jokes, I'm boss 24/7, but there's still a level of respect and honor that I want to make sure that he knows he has, that he's the leader, and not take that from him. So it has been, 15 years we've worked together. So it has been a real kind of juggling and surrendering and forgiving one another, and just really coming to a place where we respect each other in the office space as co-workers in a sense, but also husband and wife at home.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take the work into the home space, which is really easy to do.
Yeah.
And then that becomes who you are. You're just co-workers all the time. So we've had to really work really hard. We have to say really hard on making sure that work is work, and we as husband and wife are husband and wife and in relationship to one another. And that's most important. So
this sounds like it's kind of fresh. Is that because things are really hard right now?
No, I'm just kind of speaking about the whole transition.
Yeah.
But, he was kind of semi-retired and he had to come back full time in order to work us through this. So that creates a whole nother level of, I don't want to say conflicts. It's not really conflict, but just another dynamic, working 2 days a week and pretty laid back on the 2 days he was in the office to coming back in and having to be That's full steam shift. Again. Yeah.
So let's wrap this up with this question. What is the key to a great marriage?
I I would say treating the other person like you want to be treated. The foundation being Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, now allowing
It
Jesus.
does make a huge difference.
Yeah, allowing Jesus to transform us, not blaming him when I feel bad. It's not his fault that I feel bad. It's something within me, and that's difficult. I want to blame him versus looking at myself. But it's a good marriage is literally the foundation is Jesus and being transformed individually so that we're able to love one another as God has called us to love one another.
Is he the same guy you married?
I'm sorry, what?
Is he the same guy you married? Has he changed a lot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like you hear the joke, the man says, I've been married 5 times to 5 different women, to the same woman 5 different times. And we do. I know I've changed immensely.
Yeah.
And he
We all
has
do.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's amazing how we resist the evolution that happens in each other.
Yeah.
My wife is just retired, and so that's a huge change for her, and it's really been challenging for her, but she's getting through it. And I don't think I've ever felt more important in her life than I am right now.
Wow.
Just being a friend to her and just walking with her, not trying not to tell her what to do with everything, but just letting her learn it and understand it for herself. And those transitions are priceless. And it sounds like you guys are about ready to head into one. So I'm really excited for you. I'm excited for what things look like 5 years from now, because I think you're going to have a lot of freedom to do some really exciting things and innovative things, especially in the church. And the church desperately needs innovation. We need to do things better. We need to do things deeper. And so I'm really excited for you guys and where you're going. Thank you for taking the time to sit down.
Absolutely.
And talk. This is something I've wanted to for a long time, Carol, and I'm really glad I had the opportunity.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking me and having the chance to sit and talk with you.
Yeah.